Today, we're diving into a story of hidden connections, a kind of intellectual family tree that links together some of the greatest minds in history. It's a story that shows how science isn't just about lonely geniuses having eureka moments. Nope, it's a chain of human influence, passed down from one generation to the next.
All right, let's just jump right in with a puzzle. You've got Charles Darwin, right? The father of evolution. Then there's James Clerk Maxwell, the guy who figured out electricity and magnetism are the same thing. And then Werner Heisenberg, one of the pioneers of quantum mechanics. So, a biologist, a classical physicist, and a quantum physicist. What in the world could they possibly have in common? They seem like they're from completely different planets, but they share a pretty wild secret connection. And that connection, it's something called an academic lineage. You can think of it less like a bloodline and more like a mind line. It's a family tree that doesn't track genetics, it tracks mentorship, who taught whom. It's literally a map of how ideas and inspiration flow from a teacher directly to their student. And here it is. This is the very map we're going to explore today. Now, I know, at first glance it just looks like this crazy tangled web, but every single line you see here is a teacher-student relationship. And the most incredible part? All of these amazing sprawling branches, they all trace back to one single trunk.
So let's start where it all begins, right at the very base. We're calling this the Newtonian trunk. For now, our story is just a simple, straight line. But this line, it's the backbone for everything that's about to happen.
So check out this direct, unbroken chain of teaching. It all kicks off way back in the 1600s with the man himself, Sir Isaac Newton. And from there, it's like a baton being passed. Newton teaches Roger Coates. Coates then teaches Robert Smith. That knowledge gets passed down to Walter Taylor, then to Stephen Whitson, and it keeps going for 6 generations until it finally lands with a geologist named Adam Sedgwick, almost 200 years later. It's just this perfect, clear river of knowledge flowing from one mind to the next.
But it's right here, with this guy Adam Sedgwick, that our straight line, well, it stops being a straight line. This is the crucial branching point, where that single river of knowledge starts to fork and spread out in all these new, totally fascinating directions. And it all pivots on this man, Adam Sedgwick. Yeah, he was a big deal geologist at Cambridge for sure, but his real, lasting legacy, it might just be the minds that he helped shape. He is the point from which this whole tree of genius just explodes.
I mean, just look at who he taught. On one branch, you've got Charles Darwin. Yeah, that Darwin. The guy whose work on evolution completely changed biology forever. But for our story, we're actually going to follow that other branch, William Hopkins, a mathematician who became, and this is no exaggeration, one of the most influential tutors in the history of science. So yeah, we're going to follow that second branch, the one that starts with William Hopkins, because this is where the lineage just bursts open into an absolute explosion of scientific discovery, the kind that would basically define the next 200 years.
Hopkins was a bit of a phenomenon. He wasn't some famous researcher himself, but he was a legendary coach. They called him the Star Maker because he had this almost supernatural knack for training Cambridge's top math students.
And this really shows you his impact. He didn't just have students, he created a constellation of scientific superstars. Just look at the names he personally taught: James Clerk Maxwell, Sir George Stokes, Lord Kelvin, Edward Routh. These aren't just famous scientists. These are the pillars of 19th century physics, and they all had the same mentor. It's wild.
Okay, now let's follow just one of those lines down. It's so cool. So Hopkins' student, Edward Routh, he goes on to teach John Strutt, also known as Lord Rayleigh. Rayleigh, a Nobel Prize winner himself, then teaches Sir J.J. Thomson. And Thomson, of course, is the guy who discovers the electron. And who does Thomson mentor? Ernest Rutherford, the man who figures out the structure of the atom. Do you see that? From a math tutor to the dawn of the nuclear age in just 3 steps. Unbelievable. But hang on, because Thomson's influence went global. On one hand, his student Ernest Rutherford went on to teach giants of Western physics like Niels Bohr. But Thomson also taught Sir Jagadish Chandra Bose. Bose returned to India and basically became a founding father of modern Indian science, mentoring geniuses like Meghnad Saha and Satyendra Nath Bose. Yep, the guy the boson particle is named after. So from one teacher in Cambridge, this tree of knowledge literally spread across the entire world. And if we just zoom in on Rutherford's branch alone, the impact is just staggering. His students include Niels Bohr, who gave us the quantum model of the atom, James Chadwick, who discovered the neutron, and Homi Bhabha, who would go on to build India's entire nuclear program. Their work didn't just change science, it literally reshaped the politics of the entire planet. And this brings us right back to where we started. Remember our puzzle? Because Rutherford's student, Niels Bohr, he went on to mentor a brilliant young physicist named Werner Heisenberg, the creator of the uncertainty principle. The circle is complete. Darwin, Maxwell, and Heisenberg, they're all academic siblings or cousins, all descended from the exact same intellectual lineage.
So after tracing this incredible map, you have to ask, right? Why does this tree of genius actually matter? What's the big takeaway from all this?
It matters because this entire, sprawling, world-changing network of scientific revolution, we're talking everything from evolution to quantum mechanics, it can all be traced back through an unbroken chain of teaching to one single starting point, Isaac Newton.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. Great ideas are almost never born in a vacuum. They're passed on, they're challenged, they're built upon through the very human act of mentorship. From that one single trunk planted by Isaac Newton, a huge, complex forest of knowledge was able to grow.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? Every single name on this chart, no matter how famous they are now, was once just a student looking to a teacher for some guidance. It really makes you wonder, who right now is out there teaching the giants of tomorrow? And what incredible new branches are they about to add to this tree?